right here.
I'm gonna go refreshing it, and then wait, you're gonna send me the link, or do I just like keep linking them to the website?
Yeah, just put on your story like live link in Grahm Radio's bio, or just www.grahamradio.com, and just please make sure that Grahm is spelled correctly.
All right, got you.
There we go. Yeah.
Nice.
The link is in. And yeah, dude, please take whatever pictures you want.
There we go.
All right, so let's double check that the link works. Live with Intermach takes you directly to the link. Yeah, and we're live.
All right, let me put that out.
Okay. Yes.
Nice.
Okay, so let me just go ahead and turn the volume all the way off right here. All right. Yeah.
There we go. Nice.
Woo! Podcast time. Let's fucking do this, huh?
Let's get it. First
all right.
I've never really been on a podcast.
Oh, yeah. All right. Well, here, before we start, I'm going to take a little sip of water.
All right, no worries. Actually, let me copy you on that.
Yeah, it's sort of a move. It's sort of the move right before a pod. Damn, bro, using the suit to open the water? Sheesh, dude.
My eyes are a little sweaty because I'm a little nervous. I don't know if you caught on.
No, I mean, dude, you've been shaking this whole fucking time. It's like, my guy, I gave you a fucking Modelo. Relax, dude.
We're out here vibing, man.
Yeah, here, look at me. Beautiful. Live with Intermach now. Boom. All right.
All right, just...
Yeah. Hello, Intermach.
Hello, how you doing?
So you're just gonna come into the podcast studio and rip a fat fucking Tech House set, a 2-hour-long Tech House set. For the listeners, he showed up 2 hours early in a suit and did a 2-hour-long Tech House set. I'm kidding, but
it's 3 hours.
Yeah. Here, talking to the mic.
Right
yeah.
here.
So you are Intermach,
yes.
and you run Tampa Tech House.
Yes.
Is that right?
Tech House Tampa.
Tech House. I was gonna say, is it Tampa Tech House or is it Tech House Tampa?
Tech House Tampa. For the flow, I feel like it has a flow to it. Tech House Tampa.
I absolutely agree. Tech House Tampa. A lot of T's.
THT.
THT.
Yeah.
Dude, so how long has Tech House Tampa been around?
Literally just started a month ago.
Oh, no shit.
Under a month ago, and we actually just broke 150 followers, so that's been a blessing.
Dude, that's what I'm talking about, my guy. Let's go. But you've been doing it a lot longer than a month.
Oh,
though.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. Like you've been, so you're a multifaceted guy. Yeah. So I want to, much like the genres of music that you produce, you are a multifaceted human being. So you produce music. Mm-hmm. You run Tampa Tech House, which I want to get really, really deep into.
Okay.
And you just finished your first year of law school.
First year of law school, 1L. It's
at FIU Law.
It was a trip. I'm not gonna lie,
dude. Oh my god.
There's a lot of fighting with myself in terms of because of quarantine. Quarantine just ruined it. Like imagine having to go to school online every day. I mean, I'm sure that you understand.
So when during quarantine, I was actually studying for the bar exam.
Oh.
Yeah, which was honestly like it was sort of like a blessing. Yeah, it was sort of a blessing because they closed the entire library except for bar takers.
Ooh.
Yeah. So the entire library, I went to NSU. So yeah, so the entire library at NSU was literally just bar takers. And the maximum amount of people that were there at any point in time was literally 12.
12 for a whole library?
For about 5 months.
Jesus.
Yeah.
That's got to be lonely.
It was not. It was
not?
like, nah, because, you know, like, these are people who you went to law school with for 3 years, and we just really got to know each other really well this summer.
Right. Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Yeah, and I mean, it was really, like, supportive and stuff, because, like, I mean, when you're only working, I mean, it's like when you work in a law office in a small law office, you're going to really get to know everybody in that law office. And you guys are going to be working together, and you're going to know every little nook and cranny of every case that you guys are doing.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, but you don't even have to worry about the bar exam for a while.
2 years, thankfully.
Dude, oh my gosh, man. Yeah, wait, so you were, what were the finals that you just took? Civil procedure?
Right? I did civil procedure, I did property, I'm trying to remember criminal law. Criminal law was by far the most fun.
Dude, I'm a public defender, so like I do criminal law all day long.
We got to talk about this.
Dude, I'd love to, man. Yeah. So you just finished your 1L, but more importantly, the reason that you're really here, Tampa Tech House. So Intermach. How long has that name Intermach been around?
Since I started producing, honestly, I wanted to have the name before I had any projects or anything, because so I could just have a solid like foundation of branding to base myself.
How did you come up with Intermach?
I didn't want to have like something cheesy, there's quite a few EDM DJs that have really cheesy names. So I sat around.
DJ Pandemonium. Dude.
It was a struggle, honestly. I was sitting in my bed for like 3 months trying to figure out what I was going to do.
Just in your bed, not leaving your bed for 3 whole months?
No, I'd think about it in my bed. But also that, I was just there thinking, how can I make this meaningful?
Yeah.
And so I was just thinking the word Intermach, because I wanted to have something that could be for various genres, whether it be dubstep or house, and inter is like between, right? So I wanted to be between genres, and then Mach is the speed of sound. So between the speed of sound, not really sticking to one sound, not sticking to another. I know it like
it's like yin yang, you know? It's it's multifaceted.
Yeah, it's got to go between the speed of sound. And so especially recently, I've been trying to brand it around aerospace things, because since I was a kid, I really love space and like flights. Like I used to go to MacDill Air Force Base and go every year to the air shows that they had. And I've just always been really big into like flights and all of that stuff.
Have you ever thought about getting into aerospace law? There's a market for it, man.
In terms of law, I really love constitutional law.
Interesting.
Constitutional law is my niche. Yes.
So many types of scrutinies in constitutional law.
So many of everything. I mean, I generally love politics. I mean,
nice.
I want to be a politician in the future.
Cool.
And so... yeah, I mean, constitutional law just plays right into that. Being able to understand the law so that you can later be able to create it. That's
a great way of looking at constitutional law, because that's what it is. Yeah, man, on the bar exam, there was a whole question about federal con law. It was like defamation and like all this crazy shit. There was it was like sort of a classic question. The newspaper journalist found someone who's doing something wrong, or at least she thought that she was doing something wrong, and then wrote about it but added extra shit.
Oh no.
Yeah, and then like she didn't provide like proper notice to to the defamation lawsuit. Like I think that when it comes to media outlets, you have to provide them with I think it's 10-day notice for them to like fix it and retract it, or maybe make a retracting statement about it. But like she didn't do that, and like whatever. I passed the bar exam. So
that's what I love to hear, man. Dude, I mean, you're a public defender now. You're doing your thing.
Feels good, dude.
Yeah.
Any thought on doing entertainment law? Because it would be in line with what you're doing with your DJ stuff.
I've absolutely thought about it.
Yeah.
But there's just something about like defending people from the entire weight of the government that just appeals to me, and like I'm very big on personal rights. So these personal rights, like being able to save like someone who's getting like just whether it be trampled on or like something like that from the government. I mean, just
when you say trampled on, you don't mean literally.
No, not literally. I mean,
like who's being trampled on now?
Right now, I'd say there's a big danger in gun rights, especially with a lot of the more looser definitions of, say, like assault rifles and just gun rights in general. California, New York, the whole you can't. I think it was magazine capacity, and then also not being able to transport guns from like outside of your home. You got to.
So in magazine capacity, there's a loose definition of something?
Like, well, just assault rifles in general, or just assault weapons, because that's the term, the scare term that's going around. And don't get me wrong, I mean,
it's a scary term, assault weapon.
Yeah, and of course there
literally the word assault is in there. Yeah,
there's problems with that, and there's loopholes and things that we need to fix. But at the end of the day, the Second Amendment isn't just for personal defense; it's for defense from not only people but also the government. Yeah. And so I'm big on constitutional rights in terms of whether it be free speech. Like you can be like, so I'm Jewish, you're Jewish.
Yeah, I'm Jewish.
I don't care if you're a Nazi. I mean, obviously, I think you need to. Not you.
I'm going to go ahead and say right now, not a Nazi. No matter what people say.
Right. And so I don't care if you're a Nazi.
Ah, shit. Hold on.
Oh, okay. It's the camera. I hope you're not a Nazi there. Whoever's watching, please.
Yeah, please don't be a Nazi if you're watching this. Why?
And if you are, please open your mind and research things. There's much better things out there in the world than white supremacy.
Yes, there are. I'd agree with that. Hold on, man. My bad.
We're in technical issues.
Yeah, having some technical difficulties.
This is apple juice in a Modelo bottle. Is it cable routing?
Hold on. It's nothing that we can't fix.
That's what I love to hear. Nothing gets past the lawyer.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, see, what happened there is for some reason the plug, like the actual wall outlet decided to take a shit on me.
Yikes. Check. Yep. I'm back in the monitors. We're good.
Jesus fucking Christ.
That was
really, two enormous things just went wrong and just got fixed.
We're back.
I'm a fucking gangster.
We're back.
Yeah.
I was gonna promo this while it was going on, but everything.
Oh, dude, promo it, bro.
Get the hat. Get the hat. I just got the hat. Very solid. What was it? Cranberry red.
It's cranberry red.
Cranberry red.
Yeah. So that hat is actually that is available. That is available to purchase. But the one that's online is a different one. The one that's online is this one. Yeah. It's a very, very cool one. Yeah.
The green.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm gonna save up and buy this one too. I gotta support, man.
Hey, man, all the money goes back into the pod.
Right back. So you can keep watching this and, just keep developing.
That hat this hat is very much available on my website for purchase.
Buy it. It's so beautiful too.
Buy it,
It's like a forest green, like a forest winter.
It's like
green.
a dark green. It's like a dark forest.
It's like you go to Sweden and you chill in the forest. That's the color of the trees.
Yeah.
Scandinavian green.
Ooh, Scandinavian green. Buy my Scandinavian green hats, please.
We just made a new color name.
I'm so into it. Cranberry red, Scandinavian green, fucking Second Amendment rights.
Yeah, we should make Crayola like names. They should contract us.
Or like what were those things that Harry Potter did with those jelly beans? Remember? Do you know what I'm talking about?
I vaguely remember.
Gringotts Gots, Gringor Gots. Jelly beans, something like that.
I remember what you're talking about. I don't remember the specifics about
it. The flavors were so weird. It was like fucking vomit red or something. If you're vomiting red, then
go to a hospital.
Then you can clean it up with my hat and it won't make a stain because my hat's red, Fucking who cares?
Cranberry red vomit. It has to be. I can't.
That is the color of my hat. Cranberry red vomit. I mean, dude, I'm into that. I would totally wear a hat with some red vomit on it. You might smell like shit, but you'd have a story.
Yeah, you'd have everything has to have a story.
Where'd the vomit come from?
I don't know.
Someone threw up.
Yeah.
Yeah, someone's rights got taken away and they fucking threw up. I wonder if that's ever happened. Like a law gets passed and someone is so upset that they throw up. Like remember when you were little and your mom would get pissed at you and be like, "You're fucking grounded," and you'd go to your room and be like,
yeah,
like,
you, Mom.
Yeah, I'm running away, and then you would get all hyped up and maybe puke a little bit in your mouth,
I get I don't puke, but I get pukey when I'm really anxious.
Yeah.
When I'm really anxious, it kicks. I'm like,
Like you can feel it.
Yeah, I can feel it. Like I need to blow. Like it's really weird, and I actually like when I eat a lot and I get that, I do throw up. But like it's a horrible thing.
Oh, it's the worst, dude. Yeah. Throwing up, but sometimes throwing up can feel so good.
Oh, when you have a headache or when you're just like sick in general, like something in your stomach, it's like, and then it's like catharsis.
Or like when you're drunk.
Yeah.
Like when you're drunk and you throw up, like you feel like absolute garbage before you throw up.
I've only gotten to that point once in my life.
Yeah. Was it in college?
It was in college. Yeah, it was in college. Yeah. I was not young. I was not young and breaking the law.
Yeah, no, of course not. Yeah.
But yeah, no, it was. I ended up puking in a McDonald's urinal.
In a McDonald's urinal?
In a urinal. It was the worst thing.
That's not what you're supposed to use urinals for.
I know.
What happened there? You forgot?
I think it was like my first time actually getting drunk, and I just like couldn't handle it.
Damn. Do you remember what you were drinking?
Fireball. I did like half. Like my buddy.
Have you had any Fireball since then?
Just like little shots, because like I don't.
Okay.
I just like getting
like you don't shy away from it.
No. But I just don't like drinking in excess. I just don't like the feeling of it. Just
it never feels good.
Yeah, just to have fun, get a little tipsy with the friends, but
dude,
like nothing too
my
bad.
buddy in college gave me the perfect phrase. It's a phrase that's been used before, but just take the edge off. Like it was less of like he didn't invent that fucking phrase,
right?
But he just like pointed out like, yo, like when you go out and drink, like just take the edge off, you know.
Yeah.
And I was never like a fucking like drunk. I mean, I've gotten drunk and thrown up like only after like if I drink and then like I smoke or something. But like the only times that I've ever actually like blacked out on alcohol, like I look back very whatever the opposite of fondly. With a lot of regret.
Anti-fondly.
Yeah.
I don't know.
With a lot of fucking pain.
Regret and pain and disgust.
And it's like, I never want to get to that, you know?
Yeah.
Like, that's so fucking, so nasty, dude.
It's horrible.
Yeah, meanwhile, we're drinking fucking Modelo and the Miller High Life.
Apple juice and
like,
Modelo can.
Yeah, exactly. Cheers, baby.
That's it. Cheers. Let's do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is not a sponsorship.
This is not a fucking sponsorship, dude. Yeah. Oh my gosh. What was like the first tech house show that you ever went to? Or like house music show? I keep on saying tech house, but like house music.
I'm trying to think, because I was really big into bass when I started producing, and I'd go...
Like, who's a fire bass artist?
A fire bass artist right now... I'm really into underground melodic bass, so I'd say Revenant, Santiago. If you like the more melodic stuff, if you like the harder stuff, Florida locals in Orlando, Heritage is really good. He actually has a show here tonight.
Oh, no shit.
Sold out with Headbang Society, which is run very interesting enough by this guy I went to high school with. His name's Segovia.
Yeah.
And he's huge now because he collaborates with Wakan, which is LS Dream / Brills's.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah. And
what?
And he has like premieres that they have.
Wait, and this is happening in Orlando tonight?
This is happening in Tampa.
In Tampa tonight?
Yeah,
Holy
Segovia's
shit.
based out of Tampa.
Bro, we're in Tampa.
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
We're in Tampa. So if you like bass music, go to that show. Actually, it's sold out. I don't think you can.
Loser.
Yeah.
We'll be there.
Yeah, but no. It's...
Dude, there's so much shit going on in Tampa.
Yeah, it's just pandemonium. Well, it's just because it's SMF. It's Tampa Music Week now, so
yeah,
there's a lot going on. And
yeah,
I love it. I wouldn't have it any other way.
I mean, dude, it's fucking great. You know, I went to Sunset back in like 2014. It was fucking awesome, but that was before I got like into like house music and stuff.
Right. Yeah.
Like since going to Sunset in 2014, I've been to Bonnaroo 3 times, Okeechobee 4 times,
nice.
Halloween 3 times, like. That's my shit.
Right,
like, I love festivals and shit like that. But, dude, the amount of stuff that's happening around here that is, like, not Sunset, that is just literally just a dope shows. Like, you have a show tomorrow night. Yeah, right?
Yep, absolutely.
Am I tripping? Like,
Henry Fong, opening for Henry Fong.
That's going to be sick, dude.
Yeah. It's been... I need to add more opening slots to my inventory because usually it's a lot of bass artists, but not a lot of house artists.
Yeah.
But... yeah, it's going to be I'm just really happy that it's not monopolized here because Sunset is having its own, like, the Sunset events, which is controlled by Alex Scanbeck, the people throwing SMF. They're having after parties, but those sold out. But there's so many other after parties that are also selling out at the same time that are unofficial, but they're, like, really big. It makes me happy because it's not monopolized here. You can just come in here, say, I'm going to throw a show and do it.
Dude, yeah. And, obviously the after parties that SMF are throwing are going to be fucking sweet. Yep. But, dude, like, going to one of those underground after parties where it's, like, people, like, I mean, it's all going to be fucking awesome, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
And there's like those other underground stuff. Like, honestly, there's something about going to like a secret set that just makes you feel cool.
Absolutely. In Miami, there's this thing called Boombox, and it's essentially these people. They have their own warehouse, and they just throw tons of shows there whenever they want, and it's just amazing. I feel like we need more warehouse stuff here, but Tampa is just now getting big on Tech House, and while that's great because I want to see it delve further into Tech House.
I mean, dude, you have the rights to it's Tech House Tampa, right?
It's Tech House Tampa,
is it just at Tech House Tampa?
At Tech House Tampa, yeah. It's actually
that is prime real estate for usernames on Instagram.
100%. And now I'm getting people to send me their show flyers. I'm getting people to send me. I'm gonna start doing artist profiles so people here in Tampa Bay, like DJs, that can be like put on and be like, yo, this is this DJ. And I know House Hats does that a lot too. I've released with House Hats, and they do artist profiles, and it's just amazing. And House Hats started here in Florida, Orlando and Tampa.
Yeah, wait, I thought that House Hats was in Tallahassee. Is that not correct?
Okay, so I am on No Authority. I believe that they may have met up in Tallahassee, and they started all their stuff in Tallahassee. But from what I know, because Jensen lives in Tampa, he's moving. He's the head of House Hats.
Okay.
I think they went up in Tallahassee. They live there together with him and Manny. Manny's the other guy.
Nice.
Manny's definitely from Tallahassee.
Yeah. But, well, I mean, dude, for the listeners, we're gonna find out all this stuff on tomorrow at 6:30.
Tomorrow, 6:30.
Because Steve from House Hats is gonna be here.
Yeah. Do you mind if I come? Just chill with Steve.
You want to slide?
Yeah, I'll be here.
You fucking kidding me? Of course.
Hell
Wait,
yeah.
then can we slide to the show after?
Dude, absolutely.
Oh, dude, now we have a fucking plan.
Yeah, I think he's gonna help set up with the House Hats show that's gonna be going on.
Okay.
And then so I'm gonna slide to Riveters. It's a stacked day, so I'm gonna slide to Riveters, help set up. You can meet the Riveters people. I'm only gonna be there for an hour, and then so you get to meet all the Diluent people. Diluent are some homies from Miami that work with Tech House Miami. Tech House Tampa is like a sister. Yeah, I had to ask. I was like, Tech House Miami. It's Michael Perez who runs it. I was like, yo, let me do Tech House Tampa. He's like, dude, 100% go for it. So his boys are up here throwing shows now. It's a Greco after party. I'm gonna help him set up for that. Then I have my set over at Tangra, which is an Ebor with Henrik Fong, and then House Hats is throwing an event at the Attic, which I will also be going to.
Fun, dude.
Yeah.
God, it's so stacked, dude.
It's so, and all the homies are there. Gallo is playing a back-to-back with Taylor, and they're House Hats homies. They also play at the Ritz a lot. But
sick, dude.
They're the headlining slot, but there's gonna be a lot of special guests.
Ooh,
so
dude, I love the collaboration efforts of the tech house scene.
Yeah,
yeah. It seems like everyone's on the same fucking page.
It's a big family. I mean, you have outliers of people that are kind of like shadier, but I won't at those people. But
I mean, dude, every community is gonna have that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But dude, just the fact that there's so much stuff going on and it's all actually like happening in an organized and professional manner, that is what is impressive, and that's what music industries need.
Yeah.
Like, music industries need live shows.
Yeah.
And the problem with live shows is always the same fucking thing. Organization and getting everyone on the same page, and people have egos. Like, what the fuck? He should be opening for me. What the fuck?
Yep.
Like, yeah, but the problem is when you're not putting on the show and someone else is putting on the show, maybe they want it to be their show, you know?
Yeah.
It's the same thing in so a lot of my podcasts are with the Tampa hip hop scene out here.
Yeah.
Like Wave Theory and like all these like collectives like Pusha Preem and Yism and all these guys. Like, there's a lot of hip hop guys here in Tampa, and they are constantly putting on shows.
Yep.
Is there some drama? Come on.
Absolutely.
The artists, artists.
Yeah.
And we'll leave it at that.
What artists?
Yeah. I mean, dude, like, there's this show coming up on June 18th. It's an album release party. This dude, have you heard of Pusha Preem?
I have, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Pusha Preem. You don't know. I haven't told you this. I started out making music, making beats for local rappers. Do you know Von Shine?
No.
Von Shine. I'm trying to remember the artist names of all my homies. I went to Jefferson High School, and there's a lot of people that came out of there that did rap. Tim Apex, and they're like really big on the local scene. And
nice, dude.
I started making beats for them, and I really got into like when I started DJing and I started making music. I was doing like all these like house parties and just parties in general, like in the hood, dude. Like, just I'm talking about like twerking on the walls, like
you were twerking on the walls.
Nah. Okay, sometimes, but
I mean, come on, dude. If the beats are fire enough, if you're making the beats, You telling me that you're not gonna be twerking?
Nah, absolutely.
You fucking better be, dude.
Yeah, and so we'd be playing Tom G, we'd be playing Crystal up in there. Oh my god, dude! All the legends, just like it was a great time, and with all those people, a great period in my life. I mean, I've moved on from hip hop. I mean, I love hip hop, especially the older one and like the classics. Of the 2000s.
What do you mean the older one?
It's like Tribe Called Quest. I'm not as I'm not as well versed as I would love to be because I've listened to so much music throughout my life. I haven't been able to really dive into something very deep like I have with EDM. So when I was young, I'd listen to a lot of jazz, classical, a lot of hip hop, a lot of like when electronic music was starting back up again. Latin music, I was big on Latin music in middle school. I had a rat tail and I played a lot of soccer.
Nice, dude.
Yeah.
I remember you. I remember you. Yeah.
I was in every school. There was one of me everywhere.
Oh, well, I went to a significantly like Venezuelan middle school.
Nice.
And it was Rat Tail City.
Yup.
Dude, yeah, like as a white Jewish guy, I was the vast minority. Like 100%. Like most of my friends were like of Latin descent.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, man. So I remember you, man.
Yeah. Dude. It was great.
Wait, would you wear those Nike 90 shoes?
No, I would wear just like regular like Converse and like Vans and stuff, but with the Nike high top socks. And so
well, that was just in fashion.
That was in fashion.
Wait, did you ever wear Sperry's with socks?
Sperry's with socks. That was a move. Yeah, that was a move back then.
That was a big move.
That was big for the Hispanics and for the baseball kids.
And for me, I guess.
And for you? Okay.
Dude, my favorite outfit when I was in my senior year and junior year of high school was Sperry's with long white socks, basketball shorts, and a tank top.
Oh, that just sounds like perfect. Like
dude, I might wear that tomorrow night. Fuck
do it, bro.
Yeah, dude.
You gotta throw it back.
Oh yeah, tomorrow night's throwback night. I'm calling it.
Let's do it.
That was disgusting.
Love that.
Hello.
You heard it here.
You heard it here. Excuse me, as they say. Dude, can I have a Sour Patch Kid?
Dude, fuck it. I was gonna ask you before the podcast started if you wanted some, and then we just started getting into it.
Dude, yeah. His rider, it was Sour Patches and Sprite.
Yeah.
Which is a great rider to have.
Yeah, I mean, really solid. I'm gonna have that as a.
Oh my god.
Yeah, dude. Put that in the middle so like you can take it. I'm not gonna keep it back here anymore.
My god,
now that I know that you want some, fuck yeah.
God damn. A Sour Patch Kid. You know, I feel like as you grow up, you kind of start to go through phases where you don't eat candy anymore.
Yep.
And like you forget how fucking amazing it is, dude.
I didn't grow up on a lot of candy, because my parents, Cuban as they are, they're not super Cuban though, thankfully. But they were like, no, that's unhealthy for you, this and that. And thankfully, they've moved on to like much healthier eating. So I didn't really get a lot of candy unless like it was like a special like night or something. So when I moved to Miami in August of last year.
Wait, where'd you move from? Oh, from here. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, my bad.
So when I moved to Miami from here, a year ago, I went in on the candy and unhealthy eating, and I just consumed so much of it.
What was your favorite candy?
My favorite candy was this is why I got Sour Patches Sprite. You put the Sour Patches in the Sprite. Like,
do it. What have you been waiting for?
Last few? Well, no, because you want some, but like.
What? Dude, this is part of your rider, bro.
So essentially, here, you're going to see it start bubbling up. I'm going to put a few. And so essentially.
Hey, wait. Let me get it on video. Okay. Yeah.
This is orange. We don't like orange. All right, so.
Well, I mean, I don't know what's wrong with an orange Sour Patch. Okay.
I mean, for the first one. So you see it bubbling, right?
Yeah.
It goes to the bottom. You let it sit a little while.
Wow, dude. It looks like one of those Pepto-Bismol things. Or no, not Pepto-Bismol.
It's the Alka-Seltzer.
Alka-Seltzer, yeah.
And so the Sour Patch starts getting infused with
those Sour Patches are like drowning. Help me!
Thus it cries for help and oxygen just rising up. So they get Sprite infused, and then the Sprite gets infused with Sour Patch flavor. Here, I'll leave some out for you if you want.
I would say shake it up, but I feel like that'd be a bad idea.
Yeah, just.
It would just be a fucking Sour Patch explosion.
Be virgin nut all over.
Whoa, dude. So, Cuban. Get the fuck out.
Damn.
Wait. What's like the best thing that your mom cooks?
It has to be my mom and my grandma tag team cooking. So
nice.
That's great. So it has to be my favorite dish: white rice, brown beans on one side, beefsteak, which is just beef steak, really thin, but it's like the Cuban style, with mojito, which is like the sauce from all that, and then yuca.
Oh, dude! It took me a long time to understand that yuca was that fucking good. But dude, if it's done right. then did you just get a Sour Patch in your mouth when you took a sip of that?
No, not yet.
Oh, okay, got you.
I could do it.
I mean, I'm not challenging you too. I believe you. Dude, yeah, I had Yucca. Like I've had Yucca many, many times, but I've never like really grasped how good Yucca was until like 2 years ago. I went to this really authentic Cuban spot in Miami. Don't remember what it was called, but my great uncle, because I was there with my grandma's boyfriend, a great uncle, whatever, Alston. So I was there.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. So anyway, he ordered Yucca with his meal, and I had some, and I got like a side order for myself. Like, dude, it's so fucking
That's
good.
what it is.
If it's done right, it's so good, man.
Have you been to any here?
Actually, in Town and Country, there are a ton of Latin spots.
Yup.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Like it's insane. That being said, so one thing that you may not know about me, I just moved to Tampa. Like I moved here in January. Like I passed the bar and moved here. Like I with the podcast.
Why?
So I had been doing the podcast for about 3 months. I had done like 53-ish episodes, and then an artist collective kind of discovered me, and I like met up with them. They kind of took me in. It was cool. Didn't really work out super well for a variety of reasons.
Right.
But nonetheless, like I came with the podcast, and I'm still doing the podcast.
That's what I love to hear.
Yeah, and a lot of other reasons too. Like I saw that Tampa was like so like it was evolving.
Yeah.
Like I really feel like Tampa, because I had visited Tampa multiple times, and I saw that like number one, not traffic like Miami.
Yep.
I'm from Fort Lauderdale, but you know I'd go to Space and shit. And
Yeah. No, that makes sense.
Yeah. And the traffic way better. There's just way less people, but it's also a metropolitan city. I passed the bar exam, and I knew that I'd be able to find a job out here, which I did.
Right.
And I also saw something that I'd love to talk to you about.
Okay.
Which is like, at that time, I was making these like house mixes called I was calling them post games. I got up to post game like 12 or 13.
Nice.
Great name.
Where? I wanna
SoundCloud.
I wanna listen to them.
Yeah, they're all on SoundCloud.
All right, bet.
Yeah, and they I was making post games, and I would see like in Miami there'd be a million things, but then when I would go to Tampa, I would try to look for a house show, and maybe I just didn't know where to look, and I probably just didn't know where to look.
Right, yeah.
But I think that it's fair to say that there's a lot more house going on in Miami than in Tampa.
Absolutely.
So I felt like the demand for it in Tampa was gigantic, but the supply was tiny.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like that was also a big reason why I moved out here, so I could like find cool spots to like so I could discover the house music culture here.
Well, you have Tech House Tampa right here. So
Literally. Yeah, fucking sweet.
Yeah, and so that's very true. I like that, and I like what you just said there, because it is definitely evolving, and we've always been a big base city, but that's why I'm happy that we're coming around to house now, is because now we have the diversification. People are able to go more. There's more, like, the economy is moving now again, especially, and now that we're out of quarantine, it's for everything. It's for base and for house. So now the money that's revolving around the scene is for everything and not just one genre.
Yeah, man, and house music fans are so loyal to house music. Like,
absolutely.
Dude, like what I said earlier about people loving an underground show, like a cool warehouse show that happens like weekly or like bi-weekly, dude, people will show out to that type of thing, man.
Yeah.
Like 100%.
Yep.
And that shit's easy to set up. Like I'm assuming that you have like speakers and stuff like that. Or,
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, dude, you fucking saw my whole setup there. Like, dude, you might not. I have two enormous fucking 20-inch speakers right there.
Fantastic setup.
Thank you, man. I'm really, really fucking proud of it. Yeah. But I saw in Tampa that there was like, because a lot of my friends out here before I moved out here, they would go to the house shows, like the big house shows, like when Shiba-san would come here and like Fisher would come here.
Yeah.
Like they would go out to that, and
right.
I would see videos of them there, and it would be a fucking absolutely packed house.
Have you been to the Ritz yet?
I have not been to the Ritz.
You're going. You got to go soon.
I'm down. Yeah, man.
I mean, it's sold out this weekend, but when I'm back, I'm leaving Ashley to Miami on Monday, but I'm going to be back and forth like every other weekend.
Yeah, fucking sick.
I'll be here, yeah.
Yeah. So a lot of shows happen at the Ritz. I'm assuming
they're the main show throws here. If you get a big artist here, it's probably going to be the Ritz.
Or the Orpheum, right? Is that a place?
Orpheum is more for independent. I actually had my first show at the Orpheum.
Oh, nice.
And it was a shit show, but the Ritz is the main place here. You want to? It's kind of like saying Space. Ritz is the Space of here, and it's almost like it's the Celine in Orlando. Okay. It's also the Celine of Tampa. So they're the ones that throw SMF. along with Disco Donnie, who throws events over in Texas as well.
Oh, sick.
He did Ubby Fest, was the one that he just threw. And so, yeah, no, but what you were saying, there are a lot of people in Miami. I want to like give shouts out. There's Industry 3, which they do. All these people, they throw house shows together too. So Tech House Miami, Industry 3, Taking Shape. They're new there. They're run by a duo named Mauve, who just graduated. They graduated from FSU, and now they're back down in Fort Lauderdale, Taking Shape.
Wait, when did they graduate from FSU?
This year. Okay. They held their first show back in Fort Lauderdale at Rhythm and Vine.
Nice, dude. I've been there a bunch, man. I got kicked out of Rhythm and Vine once.
Oh no!
It wasn't even my fault though. It was my birthday, and my buddy thought that it would be funny to go, inside. Like it was during the day, and there weren't like a ton of people there, so there was no there were no bartenders inside. Everyone was outside.
Right.
My buddy thought that it was a great idea to go inside, go behind the bar, and just grab like whiskey and like pour shots for me and him. We went there from brunch and we were kind of mimosa'd out. So we, like he pours me a shot. I'm like, listen, man, we got to get out of here. I'll take the shot, but whatever. We take the shot. We walk outside. The whole squad immediately gets kicked out, which wasn't super ideal. But you know who I saw at Rhythm and Vine? Nora and Pure.
She was going to come back.
Oh, yeah? What happened? She's going to come?
COVID restrictions in Europe.
Yeah. Damn. Yeah, dude, Nora and Pure is a savage.
Oh my God. Yeah, and so the throwing show's there, and it's a really great place. If you want to throw shows in Miami, Rhythm and Vine, or the Miami-Dade area, Fort Lauderdale, that's the place. I mean, it's such a beautiful place. I don't know why people don't throw it there often. McDenton's is also a really good place to house.
I've heard of that.
It's right on A1A.
Yeah.
And House Hats threw a show there yesterday with Croatia squad, actually.
Fun.
Yeah.
Damn, son.
Yeah.
Nice.
So it was a really stacked lineup, and then.
By the way, I just want to say I love the name House Hats because I know exactly what like that means.
And it's funny because like you don't
like this. This is a total house hat.
Yep.
You know, like you could wear this out. It's like small lettering. It's a dad hat.
It just says house. They have hats that say house, and then it's a house hat. They literally have a house hat.
I looked through some of their merch, and that's fucking incredible.
I have the sticker, one of the original stickers. When I first met Jensen, he gave me this, and like I didn't know what house.
Hey, wait, hold that up. I want to put that on my story. That's fucking incredible.
I didn't know what house hats was gonna be at the time that he gave me this, and
wait, hold it up more.
I just wanted to support the homie.
Yeah.
And it turns out that they just blew the hell up, man. They own Florida now, essentially, for throwing shows. They're throwing shows in every city. They're expanding to a lot of different states now.
That's super impressive.
I can't go into which states, but
that's cool.
They're expanding.
Did you ever perform at a Tech Yes?
Oh my God. I promoted for them for a little while with hopes of doing it, and then they had a very interesting ordeal happen down in Miami.
Okay.
And then it switched hands of management. I used to be really cool with Dan Clark, who was the owner of it, and then that just went out. Like it's gone. So
Tech Yes is Techno now?
Yeah, it's Techno, Tech gone. And so I mean I'm super sad because they really owned the place.
Dude, I had so much fun at Standard. So Standard was a bar in Tallahassee. It's actually no longer a bar in Tallahassee. It closed down. And yeah, I mean, I had fun there, and but they closed down after I left.
Right.
And they had Tech Yeses there. I saw Billy Kenny there. I saw Chris Lorenzo there.
Yes.
Then the year after I left, GRP came through, which is like fuck. Like I didn't even know who GRP was when he performed, but a couple months later, I'd listened to like, dude, GRP has the song Kool-Aid.
Oh, did you play that? I think I saw it in your playlist.
No, over there I played Soldier by I forgot who it's by, but whatever.
I think it was Afaya.
Yes. That's exactly who it was by. Yeah, dude, DJing house music is just so fucking fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
Dude, it is like you just like it's mind blowing how much fun it is.
It's instant groove. I mean, you got to be in a mood to get into bass.
Instant groove. I love that.
Yo, I think I'm gonna start throwing shows, like have a little like side instant groove.
I'm into it.
Let's do it. And so yeah, no, House Hats is amazing, and the name recognition and the branding around it is so fucking crazy because people don't even say the headliners ananymore. They're not. Are you going to Shami? Are you going to? They say, are you going to House Hats? And that
no shit.
That's the level to which they are branded. So shouts out to it's Steve, it's Jensen, it's Manny and Gianni. who are the main ones, and then you have the locals. Like there's Brandon and Michael in Miami, so they help run House Hats Miami, and so they also have like this crazy like. They have levels to their management. It's not just like a bunch of random people. So there's like the head.
This is a company.
Yeah,
this is like a well-run company.
Yeah, I mean they have an LLC and everything. So like they have the council, and then they have the regional managers, and it's like really well structured. So that contributes to lots of success because they know what they're doing. Yeah, and so that's why I mean I'm a big fan of House Hats. I mean I released my first Tech House track that I did with them. And it's just been nothing but love. They've always just supported it.
That's so good, and it goes back to what we were saying earlier about how important it is to be organized.
Yes,
with
absolutely.
with the music industry.
Yep.
Yeah, man. Like with shit like that, like with everything that you're telling me about House Hats, and we're gonna learn a lot more about House Hats tomorrow.
Yep.
Like it sounds like they're doing something right.
Yeah. Oh,
you know,
so
from a broad perspective, it sounds like they're doing something very, very correct.
And here's the important thing. I think it's also the timing, because they came at a very crucial point in show throwing where the industry had died because of COVID, and people were too scared to start throwing shows because they didn't want to get called out for like all the, you know, the people on Twitter that are always just shitting on people for no reason.
Yeah.
And
yeah, like me.
Yeah, I hate everyone that those shows. And no, so they started at the point where like the cases were starting to drop, and they saw that there was a need because places were opening again. Because Florida's been a lot more like liberal and like letting people do whatever they want with the COVID restrictions, right?
Yo, it's been great.
And so they took advantage of that timing, and it served for the best because they started getting all the venues that were the best for throwing these shows, all these artists that were hungry to start playing shows again, and they just seized that. I don't know if they did that on purpose or if it was just like they launched it at the right time, but the timing was impeccable. There couldn't have been better timing for their success, and they did it really well.
Dude, that's fucking awesome, man.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and it's not easy to do. Like one thing that I've like learned about like just business is, and this is from like research, like just like looking up how to like run a business. Timing is so important.
Yep.
Like timing in the market. You know? Yeah. Like, yeah. So I want to talk about law.
All right, let's get into it.
Yeah. So you want to be a politician?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Tell me more about this. Like why? Like when did you know that you wanted to be a politician?
Okay, so I want to be a politician since I was very young. And
what's very young?
Like I'd want to say
like 7 or 8.
A little older, like middle school, about to get into high school, because the high school I was going to had a long criminal justice program.
What was happening in the political climate when you were this age?
Middle school, it was Trayvon Martin. It was Obama doing just different things. And that's not particularly what inspired me. What inspired me was people elect these people, and it was more of the lawyer slash I wanted to do the lawyer than politician route, because people have a lot of distrust in lawyers and politicians, and those are two of the most important professions to keep a society functional.
I feel like if it's very easy to not trust someone whose values don't align with you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but then like those lawyers and politicians whose values align with you, people will be able to trust. People will want to trust them because like they know that they're going to be promoting the exact laws that they want to see passed.
Yeah, and so
policies is the word that I was looking for.
Yeah, policy. And so without getting into too specific ideologies on politics, because the EDM world isn't very kind to differences of opinion. It's especially if you start diving into EDM Twitter, it's very much an echo chamber, and I don't want to get like
ostracized.
There's so many silent. There's so many people that have different ideas than the group think and the EDM
and you know what, man, like what you're saying right now, I feel like is extremely important because like, church and state should be separated.
Right. Yeah.
And I feel the same way about like art and state. It's like, why the fuck do I care what Tom Cruise thinks about abortion?
Absolutely.
You know, like I don't care. Like if fucking Intermach is putting on a firehouse show, I don't care that you're into the Second Amendment.
Yeah,
like all I care about is
that's a big issue because especially in EDM Twitter, a lot of these I'd say ravers, these woke ravers, they like listening to these big artists say whatever like aligns with them, but God forbid they say something that doesn't. I mean, there's so many silent, like I'd say silent conservatives that are DJs, and it could be people's favorite DJs, and they don't know it because they don't want to go out and say this out of fear of their career being ruined. And you can't really be on the right wing. Not saying that I am right wing. You can be pro to Second Amendment and be left wing. But
get the fuck out.
All right, interview
well,
over.
Dude, Roger Waters is a documented anti-Semite. Roger Waters is one of the band members in Pink Floyd.
Oh.
Yeah, he's a documented. He said so much shit about. Yeah, and dude, Lupe Fiasco, mega.
Wait, what happened to Lupe?
Well, he's just a mega against Israel, and
okay.
yeah, like intensely.
Yeah.
Like he's been to shows like waving like from some pretty aggressive flags before.
Jesus.
But that being said, dude, Tetsuo and Youth, I feel like is one of Lupe's albums, and every fucking song on it is amazing. And I know the words to multiple of those songs.
Right, yeah.
And dude, in 8th grade, the only thing I listened to was 2 albums: The Wall by Pink Floyd and Ben Folds' Way to Normal, which are 2 very different albums. Like Ben Folds is an awesome piano player. He's the fucking man. Nonetheless, I was listening and all while knowing that like Roger Waters has said bad things about about Jewish people, and I'm a Jewish man.
Right.
But you know what? Tear down the wall. Tear down the wall. And I'm just on the fucking bus like, tear down the wall.
Let's go. Yeah, I mean, it's there has to be a point where
Vera, like, dude, are you fucking kidding me?
Just going in.
Dude, yeah, I love The Wall.
Right.
And that's the point here, man.
Right, yeah.
Like, art, and dude, here's another gigantic point about this. When you started creating art, did you care if any of your friends listened to your music?
No, I just created because I loved it.
That's how I feel about podcasting, and that's how I feel about art in general. Like, you can't blame people for not liking the same things as you.
Right, yeah.
Like, I feel like when you find something that you like doing, that you should go as deep as possible with it.
Right.
But you can't get mad at someone for having a different ideology than you.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So it's like, let's just take it fully out of the equation. Let's just not even fucking think about it,
and
man.
that's the issue. It's that they don't. Not only do they not want that, especially now in pop culture, because they're like, so what do you have to say about this specific social issue? And they're waiting on their favorite celebrities or their favorite DJs, their favorite artists to comment on what's happening. If you don't comment, or if you comment as something,
if you're silent on it,
we're not talking. You're not an artist anymore. We're canceling we're canceling you essentially, and that's getting into the bigger point of cancel culture, which is a whole thing. But
well, dude, with all of the stuff happening with Israel right now, I have a ton of Jewish friends, of course, and everyone was posting like blue, like all this like royal blue for Israel, and I looked at it, and it's like. First of all, I just feel like when it comes to social media, like you can promote what you think about politics on social media, but I don't think that Instagram was created to be like a public forum, which you know about.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So like 99% of the time I stay out of all political conversation. Like the way that I use Instagram is literally just business and to keep up with friends.
Right.
That's literally it. But I saw all of this, and like, I felt compelled to say something. So this is what I did. I literally just took a black picture, and in white lettering, I put, "Hatred is wasted energy."
Yep, absolutely.
That's it.
You don't know me. Why do you hate me?
That's all I put.
Yep.
Hatred in any fucking fashion. Because, dude, I don't think it's that big of a stretch to say that there are very sane Palestinians and very sane Israelis.
Absolutely.
And there are very crazy like Israelis and Palestinians and people from Australia and Europe and Russia and Asia and China and Mexico. There's basically what I'm saying is there's crazy people and not crazy people. Like that's the most broad shit that I could possibly say. Also, there's people who, talk shit and there's people who don't talk shit. And one thing that Gary Vee says a lot is you should never worry about someone talking shit about you.
Right.
Because that person who's talking shit is literally just using his energy to put negativity into the world.
Right.
And if that doesn't speak a lot more to that person's character than yours, I don't know what does.
Absolutely.
Yeah, man.
And that's what I don't get about extremism and just any of the ists racists or xenophobes and just like anything that ends with an ism that's bad, sexism, racism, those people I don't understand. And I guess a lot of that is learned as well. Like there's these poor kids that are growing up in these white supremacy like strongholds, like in the middle of Alabama, just full of a bunch of white supremacists, and they learn the hate. They don't actually feel the hate. So at one point, it's like, why do you hate someone if you don't know him? And the biggest thing isn't cancel this person because he's racist. It's educate them. The big example that always goes around, it's that that blues rock musician who ended up like taking people, like 100+ people out of the KKK. They left because of the friendship with him, and he's a black musician.
Oh, I don't remember what his name is, but he actually goes on a lot of podcasts.
Yeah, and
I know exactly who you're talking about.
It's crazy because that shows that canceling someone and ruining their life and doxing them isn't going to change them. If anything, it's going to entrench them more into the beliefs they already had. Yeah. And so if you go around doing the same to artists and other people, you're not helping the general discourse. You're just making the world around you an echo chamber, and you'll never learn. Those people that end up that try to show how woke they are, they're in an echo chamber and they don't even see it. Yeah. The best thing you can do in this world, and this is something that Antonin Scalia and a lot of the Supreme Court justices practices. They're really good friends, and they exchange ideas, and they don't hate each other from it. I mean, very famously, Ruth Bader Ginsburg and Scalia had a really great relationship. I mean, she wrote the foreword to one of his books. Elena Kagan wrote another one to this book that I'm reading now, The Essential Scalia, and they just. The way she spoke about Scalia is like very honorable, even though they disagreed on almost everything. They were never on the same opinion, like on big issues. And we need to learn more from that, because if you start creating echo boxes around yourself, and like Scalia hated that. He always had liberal friends, and he hated just being surrounded by people that thought like him. You start doing that, you start getting educated, you start seeing different points of view, and both the woke people and the racists are all practicing the same. They just surround each other by themselves by people that think the same way, and they just get so entrenched, there's no way out.
And that surrounding yourself by people with different points of view, that is the medicine to an echo chamber.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and people in an echo chamber don't realize that they're in an echo chamber, or maybe they do realize it and they just fucking love it.
Yeah, absolutely. They maybe they have a platform in that echo chamber.
It's what getting comfortable is.
Yeah.
Like one thing that I've talked about before is how. And I'm getting this from David Goggins. Like, being comfortable is the worst possible thing for you. Right. Because when you get comfortable, you get lazy and you get complacent and you don't start doing new things, and you just, like, well, the way David Goggins says it is like, you get fat. You know?
Yeah.
And dude, people in an echo chamber in their own way are getting really, really fat.
Intellectually, in a bad way.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they're gaining intellectually terrible fat.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I want to change my fucking camera angle a little bit. But yeah, wait, so what's the book that you're reading right now?
The Essential Scalia. I literally started it yesterday. I got through the foreword, the intro, and I started on his first essay, which is like a rule of law for the laws of ruling or something like that. And I just really wanted to get into his mindset, and then I'm gonna counterbalance that with a book from RBG.
Yeah.
And
R.I.P. RBG.
Yeah, R.I.P. RBG and Scalia, both great legal minds.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It's just, I mean, I'm reading them. I want to be able to it's been a while since I've read, like, leisurely, in a leisurely manner, and I'm trying to get back into that because books and knowledge,
Do you have any interest in reading fiction books?
I enjoy fishing books.
I love fishing. Do you like fishing?
Not really. I mean, I think it's fun. I think it's fun to eat the fish. Not really. I think it's fun to eat the fish, but the fishing is just like, there's a lot of things that go around.
I get destroyed on boats, dude.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I throw up so heavy.
Jesus. That's got to be horrible. You probably don't like fishing then, just off a bridge.
I like fishing off of a dock. I used to do that a lot when I was little with my grandparents. But like, dude, on a boat, on any boat, it can be big, small, doesn't matter. I will throw up. Jesus. And it's not a good throw up. It's not a good feeling throw up.
It's like you're just going to keep throwing up if you...
It's like, I feel terrible, and just throwing up is a symptom, not a solution. Like,
it's a symptom and not the solution.
Yeah.
Most of the times throwing up is a solution, but not here. That's like horrible.
It's like you're throwing up because you're expelling the bad out of you.
Right.
But there's no expelling the bad out of you. When you're on a boat, the only way to possibly expel the bad out of you when you're on a boat is to be on land. Mm-hmm. That's the only way.
I get the same way when I get car sick.
Oh, you get car sick?
I get car sick when I'm in the back. When I'm sitting in the back, and it's just crazy. I get these crazy migraines, and I pop 4 ibuprofen 200s, and then I take a nap, and that always solves it. But it just gets really insane. So I feel you on that.
You know, I've never had that car sick feeling. I've actually always really loved long car rides.
Oh, I love them too. I took a long road trip from LA to MIA with my buddy Mauricio.
No way. How long did that take?
It took we didn't do it like in one, like we stopped because we wanted to see things. It took about a week.
Okay.
Took about a week.
Why, like, what was the purpose behind that?
So he was moving. He had moved out to Los Angeles for a job with Amazon. His name's Mauricio, but his artist name is Manilo, and he's amazing. He's an amazing producer. Manilo Music.
Big envelope guy.
Manilo? Actually, I gotta tell him to get folders and brand them because he has really good branding. He has like. He has a phone case. He has like pads. Cool. Like he's trying to branch out. But either way, he had moved out to LA for a job in Amazon, and he hated it, and so he wanted to move back. He's from Fort Lauderdale, and I was like, let's just drive. And so he's like, okay, fine.
Wait, so did you fly out to LA to drive with him?
I flew out to LA for $41.
How?
For $41.
Because COVID?
It was in the middle of COVID.
Oh my God.
And so I went there. And we just kicked it there for 3 days in LA. I helped him pack and everything, and then we just went on our merry way. We stopped. I saw the Grand Canyon, most beautiful thing I've ever seen in my life to this day.
Did you like do anything there?
So we slept. We slept in. It was essentially like a big wooden box. It was an Airbnb, and it was like really camping vibes because there was like camping sites, but we got like a thing with 2 beds. And there was like a handheld heater in the room, and it was like fucking like, I think it was like 2 under Celsius, and it was crazy,
bro.
And
that is very, very cold.
And the heater died in the middle of the night.
Sick, dude.
So we were super cold, and it was really horrible because I hate.
To be honest, did you cuddle up a little bit?
No.
Come on, come on, dude. Come on.
In the morning.
Okay, no, that's cool. Yeah.
And so we went there. We spent the whole like morning and noon in the canyon, just going to different spots and looking at it and like taking pictures and stuff.
I've heard there's good whitewater rafting there. Did you see any bodies of water?
There, I mean, the river and in there, but around there, yeah, there is. You can like essentially go into the Grand Canyon on a river and like see everything.
How big is the Grand Canyon? I have no
It's literally
clue.
as far as I can see.
Here, let me look it up really quick.
It's insane.
I would actually love to know. Oh,
off in the distance.
Natalie Fundora says, I wonder if Intermach is single.
Oh yeah, hey Natalie, how you doing? I'm currently seeing someone, and it's you. I don't know if you knew that. That's my partner. That's my partner.
I assumed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm currently seeing someone, and it's you.
I don't know if you knew that, viewer.
Whoever you are, Natalie.
Hi, babe. So it was a great time. You see the planes out, like, and there's like really far out. There's planes in there.
It's 1,902 square miles.
Oh my God, man, that's crazy. It goes into 2 states, right? I think it's Utah and Arizona.
Grand Canyon National Park in Arizona. It says Arizona, but it might also, I don't know.
I think like the very northern rim is like delves into Utah a little bit. Utah's gorgeous. I want to go to Utah.
Oh, dude, I would love to go to Utah.
Dude.
The Moab Desert. There's this race called the Moab 240, and it's like a multiple day race. It's 240 miles. Rick, yes, but also like walking. I'm pretty sure the way that it's done is you go with a team, and like the way that you do it is you hit checkpoints. So at every checkpoint, I guess you have the option of continuing or stopping. This is also, by the way, this is out of my ass information just from like the Joe Rogan experience.
Right, yeah.
But just from the way that people who have done it describe it, there's checkpoints and you have to reach each checkpoint. There's this lady, I forgot what her fucking name is. But I know it, but I forgot what it is. In 2017, she completed the Moab 240 10 hours in front. Like she won, and she won by 10 hours.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
That's insane. Were you a runner?
I'm not like a runner in the sense of like, I never did track and field. Actually, I did track and field for like 2 weeks, but I've always been a runner.
Right.
Like in my Nike Plus running app, I have like 600 miles logged.
Dude,
like,
that's another thing we could bond over because I love long distance running. I was captain for cross country and long distance team in track and field in high school.
Damn, dude.
Yeah, and
what's your half marathon time? I did the Miami half marathon 2 years ago.
I've never done the half marathon, but I'm pretty sure I've ran marathons for practice. Not time, but my mile time is a 4:25.
Holy shit.
Yeah, I was trying to break 4:20, and I never got to it though.
It's okay.
That's the record. That's the PR is 4:20.
Mine was 6:30.
6:30.
Yeah,
that's a solid time.
Yeah, but I'm also like a chunky dude. Like I have like a lot of top weight, and like I played water polo for 6 years.
Oh shit.
Yeah, so I have like really really thick thighs.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean I have a lot of power in my legs,
dude.
But it's like a different type of power than a runner.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I've always loved running. Like I'm a huge Grateful. You've heard of the Grateful Dead.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, like I'm a huge Grateful Dead guy. Like Grahm, I'm named after Bill Graham, who's the music promoter for the Dead. Like my mom followed them on tour. Like it's a whole like I have like my stepdad. My stepdad has a bunch of Dead tattoos.
I love that.
Like there's surprisingly very little Dead stuff in this room because usually here's a Dead thing.
Run it up.
Yeah, this is Jerry as one of the candle things. Yeah, but whenever I run, it's like I like if I'm really doing like a run, like a long distance run, I'll put on the Dead, I'll put on a show, and I'll just like completely just block out every single thing in the world.
It's really easy to do that with long distance.
Oh, it's the best, man.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and even like having conversations with someone, like just running with your buddy, and just that. I ran from here to Clearwater and back on the bridge that they have, and it was just I ran there with my best friend at the time, and it was just amazing. Like just to get into so many things, and then the runner's high starts kicking in. You start getting into more interesting conversations, and it's just really nice. People don't understand the runner's high. Runner's high is very real.
It's very, very real
and very addicting. And because like once like I first started running, I started running to recover from. I've always played soccer my whole life, and so I had an injury, and so I did swimming a little bit, and then I started running to start getting it, and then I just fell in love with running, and the runner's high is real. Mm-hmm. It's like you're feeling that, and even when you finish your run. It's like the way that I describe it, and I'm sure that you've reached a much higher level of runner's high than me because like you're like a legit runner. The way that I describe it is elation. Yes.
Like, because it's not like you took a drug, but it sort of is like you took a drug.
Yeah. You can't drive. Like, especially when I did the Clearwater run, I couldn't drive after. I had to wait. Like, we took like.
Okay, I've never been there.
It was bad. No, we like got there and we had to
throw
wait.
Up?
No, I didn't throw up.
Yeah.
But I whenever I'd run really hard, when I did the 4:25 mile, I threw up afterwards. And like whenever I'd go really hard on cross country meets or track meets, like I'm talking about like full in, like it would be to the point where I'd cross the finish line and like fall and throw up.
Jesus Christ.
it was crazy.
Oh, that's terrifying.
Those are fun
What's
times.
the most amount of have you ever done like a 100-mile thing?
No.
100-mile run?
No, I've never. So the furthest I've probably ran. The furthest I've probably ran was probably in practice, and I didn't measure it. Because I remember, like, we'd just do runs after school, and, like, the sprinters would all be there, like, how long can you run? We'd be like, until we get tired. And that's true. And, like, we would get tired, like, barely ever. Like, we'd finish practice because, like, oh, we got to go home. But my farthest run, I can't even tell you how long it was because it would just be, like, timed. Like, it was just, we'd be running for so much time, and we'd be like, all right, we got to go home.
I have a very similar thing with swimming. It's like when I tell people that like I played water polo, they're like, oh my God, treading water, that's so crazy. But the thing with water polo is like treading water turns into walking.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like when you play. I've never been a big soccer guy, but like people are like, oh my God, soccer, so much running. But at some point, running just turns into like something that you're so used to that it doesn't tire you out like a normal person.
Like hockey. It's like skating just becomes walking, essentially. Second
I didn't get what you were saying at first, but yes.
Yeah, dude, and it's crazy because, like, especially in soccer, you're like so focused on the specifics and the tactics and strategies of the game that you're essentially your body's on autopilot, and like your brain is like your mind is
your brain's focused on the game.
Yeah, and so like you're like, all right, I'm gonna get the ball here, and like your body just does it. You're not like, okay, I need to run to this area. Maybe at first, but like once you start getting experience there, you're like, okay, get the ball, and then your body's like running towards the ball. And like I find that like now that I'm looking in retrospect, that's happened a lot because like that's what it is. It just becomes second nature to go run. It becomes
instinct.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, man. Yeah, and like that's the cool thing about sports. It's like you're learning a whole new language.
Absolutely.
You know, and it's like I don't speak Spanish, and you can say the same thing about like water polo and treading water as people who like oh, I speak Spanish. Oh my god, I would love to learn how to speak Spanish, but it's so hard. It's the same thing with fucking treading water. It's just a skill that you can learn, but you just have to be ingrained in it. Like if you want to learn how to tread water, go join a water polo league. 3-4 months down the line, you're gonna be a great water treader. You want to learn Spanish? Go move to Colombia for like 6 months. You're gonna learn how to speak Spanish, at least to a lot better than you did before you went to Colombia.
No, absolutely. That's and practice breeds like instinct. So essentially, in terms of like firearm training and like other like sports stuff, the lowest level of your training is what you're going to revert to in times of stress. So if you're in soccer and you're not a very good runner, and like you're in a high like stakes situation, the lowest level of training is what you're going to be. So the lowest level of training is you've just started learning how to like run and like do things in a way that like conserves your energy for soccer, you're going to start getting tired out and you're going to be like focusing on that instead of the game. Same thing with firearms training. If you don't train with your firearm a lot, you could probably be in a potential deadly situation for yourself. But if you practice every day at ranges, if you're for shooting, if you practice every day soccer, practice every day running, practice every day hockey, everything that you practice will become the base, and then your base will just keep going higher and higher and higher until you're one of these crazy like soldiers, like a Navy SEAL, and your gun is like exactly what you're gonna do with your gun. Yeah.
One thing that I know about gun training, which, by the way, I don't want to warrant that I know a ton about gun training. I know very, very little about it. But to the best of my knowledge, I believe that a lot of it has to do with safety.
Yes, absolutely.
Like that's like 90% of, because, like obviously shooting and being accurate is a whole thing.
Yeah.
But I'm like, my only experience with guns is using 22s when I was like in middle school at Camp Blue Star. Like seriously, I've never held a handgun.
Nice.
Well, no, I have held handguns. I've never shot one.
Okay.
But I'm aware that it's like never point the barrel at someone.
Oh yeah, you'll get kicked out of the range. You'll get kicked out. I mean, and that's what it is. People think gun nuts are just people that are like they just run around and they just have guns. No, they're the most careful
people in echo chambers think that.
Yeah. So you'll see the people that have the most guns or have the most experience with guns respect guns the most because they know the power that it has. Most people that have handguns, they don't have firearms experience, and that's a big problem. And like I'm not one for like saying you can't get fire. It's like someone shouldn't get firearms, but if you don't plan on training with your firearm and being safe with it, you shouldn't get a firearm because that is a tool. Essentially, and it does what you want it to do. If you don't know what you're doing with the tool, if you don't know how to use a hammer, you're gonna smash your fingers in.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
So make sure you know how to use a hammer.
Yeah, a hammer, a handgun as a hammer.
Yes.
Use a handgun. No, don't use a handgun as a hammer. Please don't. I
don't even know how you would do that.
You can use an AK. AKs are really hard. Yeah, they're really hard, these guns. Like,
really?
Yeah, AKs, the reason so many militaries use it, especially overseas, is you can do anything with that. You can beat someone over the head with it, and it'll still be intact.
Oh.
It's amazing.
They must be really heavy.
Really heavy, really inaccurate. It could leave a bruise if you start, if you're not used to shooting it. It pinched me like crazy whenever I first shot it. And I'm not big on guns, by the way. Like, I don't have a million guns. I just have a personal concealed.
Yeah, which I feel like is essential. Like, dude, one thing that I've like in my home, like back home,
mm-hmm.
like one thing that I always asked my parents was like, it's got a gun.
Yeah.
Like, cause the thing with a gun is like, I would rather have it and not need it than need it and not have it.
That's how I feel about it as well.
Yeah.
And then the thing is, you got to practice, because if you have a handgun and you don't practice, you're gonna take out the gun in one of these situations where you need it, and you're not gonna know how to use it, and you're just gonna you could probably hit some innocent person. And
then you'll be really fucked.
Yeah, because then all your self-defense goes out. You're just negligent at that point. So, I mean, I guess the moral of the story is, if you're going to get a gun, be responsible, practice with it, because not only will it save your life, it'll save the lives of people around you. And guns they're not a game. I mean, they're a tool, but the only reason you have that gun is to take a life, whether it be an animal or a human.
To protect a life.
Oh, to protect a life by taking one or injuring someone. But like the ultimate goal of that is, while protecting you is the main goal, it accomplishes it by hurting or potentially or killing someone.
Yeah, that's absolutely true, and that's why like, I mean, I've never been in a situation where I need to use a gun. Like,
Right.
thank goodness, and I hope that I'm never in a situation where I have to use a gun. But what I would imagine is like, even in law, self-defense, you can't, if someone says fuck you, you can't pull out a gun and shoot them.
Yep.
But if someone is trying to stab you, you can pull out a gun and shoot them.
Yep.
What's the actual terminology? You just finished your 1L. You might know this. It needs to rise to like the same level of...
It's to meet the level of force, I think.
Yeah. It needs to be the same level of force. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that torts?
That's crim law. I learned it in crim law.
You learned it in crim law.
I mean, there was a small part of thing in torts where we learned about in terms of how you would be prosecuted under torts for self-defense claims, which for some reason you could get railed more in torts than in crim law for doing that.
Dude, how nuts is torts? Torts is such a crazy class, man.
When I took torts and then I took property and I realized how the system is in terms of like how easy it is to get sued or how easy it is to like...
It's crazy.
Or how complex it is. There's really interesting issues that shouldn't. I disagreed with a lot of the holdings of these things that these judges came to in terms of property and torts, and it's just like you can really get sued for anything, man. Yeah, that's
one of the things that my constitutional law professor spoke about was in those decisions where it's 3-4. There's right, or would it be
5-4 in SCOTUS? But I think certain Supreme Courts.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I should have said 5-4, not 3-4. I thought 5-4. In decisions where it's 5-4, did they really figure out the answer? Like, because if it was just like a different politically skewed court, they would have been chosen differently.
And that's the thing, and that's what James Madison talks about. I think it's Madison. Was it Madison in Federalist? I don't remember if it was 47 or 48. In terms of the separation of powers, the judicial branch right now has become so much more powerful than the founders and James Madison would have ever thought it to be, because now they're deciding some of the biggest issues that we have, such as abortion, such as gun rights. Those are things that originally were always left up to, the conception of the Constitution was supposed to be left to the legislative branch.
Okay. I was going to say the states, but no.
Well, also the states, because they localize more, but in terms of like with the Federalist program that the government that they wanted to instill, these things in terms of nationwide debates, such as guns, abortion, and in those times race, would have been left to the legislative branch, because that reflects the will of the people at that point in time. The fact that there's 9 people in the Supreme Court that decide all the things here, that's insane. So I feel like they've kind of surpassed their limit in terms of where they sit in terms of checks and balances, and there needs to be some severe revisions to the Marbury v. Madison case. The judicial review. There needs to be some revisions to judicial review that sort of limits the judicial branch and how it creates essentially policies that then it binds not only lower courts to, but also
the problem with changing something like that is like it's so set in stone.
Right. Yeah.
Like they couldn't have imagined some of the issues that we'd be debating in 200 years later.
Right. Yeah.
But
that's what I'm glad. That's why I love the Constitution so much, because it lets us add amendments and remove. I mean, we had famously the drinking amendments. We had an amendment that banned it and then we had an amendment that brought it back. And so the fact that we're able to grow with the Constitution, because you also need a pretty severe big majority to pass an amendment. So it has to be very insane public opinion that drives this, such as slavery, such as women's suffrage. I'm glad that they allowed us to grow instead of just keeping us restricted to the Constitution that they wrote. They allowed us to add amendments because they understood that humanity is constantly evolving, and also technology is constantly evolving. We have problems now, like you said, that they didn't have back then. And I guess they foresaw that because they allowed us to add things. They allowed us to be able to have these changes of opinion and add, remove different things. And
I mean, they wrote it in a very smart way.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, they wrote it knowing that things were going to be changing.
Absolutely.
Yeah, which is so freaking smart, man. And I feel like when you can really apply that to any business, man. Mm-hmm. Like when I can't really think of a solid example, but like when you start a business, you know that the climate is going to change in 20, 30 years. So you need to be able to account for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like sort of a weird example would be like how the symbol for Coca-Cola is so like fungible. Like it's like the word Coke and also the word Coca-Cola and like the stripe, the red. You can use that in a lot of different ways. So like depending on where like the social zeitgeist is, you can use that same symbol in a lot of different ways.
Yeah, absolutely,
dude. Yeah.
Nah, I totally agree, and I think that's just. That in terms of especially business and then also policy making, you have to be preemptive in like what's going on rather than reactive. If you have reactive bills, then you have like the bill in 2001 that gave the president the power to I forgot the name of the bill, but
Patriot Act.
I think it was the Patriot Act, but I think there was a certain act that I think it might have been within the Patriot Act that essentially let the executive branch have military powers in terms of it can send people overseas 45 days or 90 days or something, and then that gives the executive a very dangerous power. And that's something that now both sides are looking to reform, thankfully, because you can't just have your president just throwing military members here and there like that. I mean, that's essentially also what happened in Vietnam. We were there for a temporary intervention, and then it turned into however long the war was, and then the public opinion turned against the war and then against our service members. We just had a huge disaster going on there. And that's super, you know, when you have a society that's against your service members, that's bad because they're viewing them negatively, and those are the people that protect you.
A society against your service members. How about freaking defund the police?
Dude, that
dumbass bullshit.
That was crazy, and I don't understand why so many people hopped on board with it. Even Obama went against it. He didn't like it.
Anyone logical is gonna be aware that like you're gonna have some bad eggs in any community, just like we were talking about earlier. Like the problem with defunding the police is that it just makes the police worse.
Yep.
Yeah.
And if you have a culture that hates the police or doesn't view them in a positive manner, you don't have respect for the rule of law.
Isn't it funny that people think that like police aren't essential?
It's
like that is mind blowing.
And the funniest part is that, and I think many people would be in favor or would be against the woke white people that think they have the voice over everyone else. It's those people that go to college on mom and dad's dime and they get like a gender studies degree, and they they think they own the world. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with the gender studies degree, but I'm saying like because you can do a lot of research and stuff. Yeah. But they go and they're so, I guess, privileged throughout their whole lives. They've never really met any adversity, and they've never really needed the police for anything. And I don't know if you've seen recently statistics that have been coming out. Crime has risen by so much in inner cities, and that whole defund the police that a lot of people were pushing, especially the more privileged people, that has risen crimes in all of the major areas, especially violent crimes.
I mean, dude, listen, man, as a public defender, I literally deal with deputies and people who are being arrested every single day from Monday through Friday, 9 to 5.
Right.
Yeah. And a lot of these CRAs, criminal report affidavits, police reports that I read, literally it's like the police got there and stopped something much worse from happening. Yeah, like if the police didn't show up, then who knows what would have happened. Yep. And then obviously as the defense counsel, like who knows what charges they would have been faced had the police not shown up had the police shown up any later.
Right.
You know? It's like, dude, it's just so essential. And a lot of people think that, I mean, I love what you're saying about how like it's those privileged people who have never had to deal with it that don't realize how essential it is.
And I totally understand the police needs reform, but defunding it isn't the problem, and being 100% back to blue isn't the problem. I mean, more famously, Rand Paul, he introduced the name of the black lady who was tragically killed in a no-knock raid.
I'm not totally sure.
Breonna Taylor.
Is that where the cops showed up to the wrong apartment?
I think it might have been the right one that they were staking out, but there was nothing there, and they served a no-knock warrant. And Breonna Taylor's boyfriend shot back at the police, and he hurt a cop. But it was in the middle of the night. They were sleeping. It was a no-knock raid, and he shot back. Thankfully, they found him good because he called the police. He's like, someone's here shooting at me. And it was the police. The police was shooting at him.
You're right.
And so he got cleared on all his charges of trying to shoot a cop because he wasn't trying to shoot a cop. He thought he was being...
he thought he was in self-defense.
Yeah, and so Rand Paul introduced a bill called the Breonna Taylor Act, in order to be able to stop no-knock raids. And then also he's also helped support the not ending but suppressing certain elements of qualified immunity. That's the way forward. It's not defunding the police.
Wait, remind me what qualified immunity means.
I think that's officers are not held liable in civil courts for things
right.
do.
It's like it's a much higher protection.
Yeah,
For
absolutely.
police, yeah.
And so that's the way forward. It's not defunding the police, because the people who are advocating for that most of the time, they didn't need it. Even the black people that, and I'm sorry if that's not PC, but I mean,
black people exist.
Yeah, black people exist. You can be a white African American if you're from Egypt. I mean, there's so many white Africans out there.
Yeah.
So this or even the Ma'Khia Bryant shooting. You remember the girl who was trying to attack two girls with a knife?
Tell the story.
The cop. So what made it to social media was that the cop showed up. This girl was supposedly called the cops because these girls are gonna jump her, and then the cop shot her. And then when the story first broke, she was unarmed. Then the body cam footage came out. She had a knife in her hand. Then the 911 call. She wasn't actually the one that called the cops. The two girls that she had attacked called the cops saying they were that this girl had a knife and was attacking them and their grandma. And then it just kept evolving, and people just kept defending it as it was. The police came and they shot a poor innocent girl. But the fact is that this girl was rushing. When the cop got there, she's like, "I'm gonna kill you, bitch!" And she started running at this girl with a knife. She pushed her down. She went to go stab another girl, and the cop shot her. And it's a really unfortunate, because you don't want to see your kid go through that. She was shot and killed in front of her family. It's a very sad thing. I mean, there's people that were like, "Oh, she deserved it." Like, no one really deserves to die. No one really deserves to be in that position. But like you said, the cop stopped something much worse from happening. Even though he unfortunately had to take a life to do that, he saved the lives of two girls who were being attacked. I mean, they were just chilling on the sidewalk when the cop pulled up. And
I mean, dude, people don't look at all the facts when it comes to anything.
They hear immediately
headlines.
Yep.
Yeah, they hear headlines and they're like, "Oh, what the fuck?"
Yep. And then especially with the Asian American shooting that happened, which is horrible, by the way.
Terrible.
A lot of check marks, more political pundits on Twitter, they're like, this was a product of white supremacy. And then the person ended up being a Syrian. I don't know if he was a refugee or an immigrant.
I don't remember.
And with Islam, like ISIS ties, and then all the check marks, they just withdrew that. They went from, "Oh, this is white supremacy," to like, let's not say the name of.
Do you think they were doing that just for like views and clicks and stuff?
I think that it's that, and also virtue signaling. A lot of these people are very guilty of virtue signaling.
Yeah.
And so back to the point, you can't be reactionary, such as defund the police. You have to think forward. You have to be proactive. You have to see, how can we prevent this from happening in the future? How can we make the system better without demonizing historically oppressed minority groups, and without demonizing the police, who are here for us at the end of the day. They're here. I mean, they're always the reason the thin blue line exists, the flag, and is because they're the line that stands for the line between society and organized society and chaos. They're the line. They're the ones that are going to some of the most tough calls, things that the regular everyday person is privileged to not have to go. They go to these crazy car accidents, to scenes where a husband murdered the wife.
Right.
Some of the worst things in society, some of the worst people to deal with.
Some of the police reports that I read, I can't even fucking believe that. Because, you know, you watch a show like Law and Order, and when you're little, and your mom's like, "Oh, like, that's not real, but it could happen." But it's just so foreign to you. Just like how the privileged person who's never had to deal with a fucking cop would say, like, "Oh, like, cops, they're not necessary." It's like, I would watch a show and I would see like someone be brutally murdered, but I've never seen that in real life. I've never had to deal with that in real life. But now I'm reading cases where that is happening.
You're getting closer to it.
And it happens a lot. Like a lot. Like a fucking lot. And it's so real. And when you read something like that, it's like, this isn't a TV show. There's no executive producer here. This is literally just an insane person who killed someone. Allegedly. I guess I shouldn't say that because I'm a public defender.
Yeah.
But like nonetheless, like this, like, a CRA can have some insane stories. Like insane stories. And it's really messed up. But dude, like, it's that thin blue line, man.
Yeah, and
it's that thin blue line that keeps the chaos out of society, man.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate that they get so much heat, and especially with they get a lot of shit for their dark humor. And if you cops.
Oh, I mean, dude, you gotta cope with it somehow, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's not all dandelions out there in your life. You can't just scream about bad jokes and how bad people are with their sense of humor if you're behind Twitter on a phone and your job is at a desk all day. I mean, you don't know what they go through.
Yeah, it's easy to say how wrong someone is when you're not there.
Yeah, I mean, most notably, like when people they take the police training test, like they've gotten people that are like, oh, like anti-police, whatever, defund the police, and they make them take like there's this like simulation room essentially.
Yeah.
They shoot the person like every time, even if the person was unarmed and everything, and it puts them in their shoes and they're like,
no shit.
And they're like,
what?
There's videos of this, and
no way.
They're like, damn. I mean, I guess it is much harder to be a cop than you have to keep your emotions under control if you're a cop, and you need to be perfect, and you need to do this. You can't do this.
Well, the reason for qualified immunity is like, I learned this in criminal procedure in my 2L. We want cops to, or the law wants cops to not have to think as much as possible.
Yep.
Like if someone is in danger and a cop is there and can potentially help that person, and it is reasonable to think that person is in danger, then that cop has qualified immunity to do a lot of the things that laymen cannot do.
Yep.
And there's a reason for that. It's because that person is very likely in danger.
Yep.
If it turns out that person was not in danger, well then, fuck. And that's a problem.
Yeah.
But if the cop couldn't make that, if the cop in that moment needed to think, okay, so it looks like that dude is about to choke that woman out and stab her, but is he really? Excuse me, sir, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, if they have to take like extra steps to help people, well, an extra step could be an extra second. A second of that could be used to do something detrimental to a child.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Every second counts, especially in those high-risk situations. And that's why I'm not in favor of completely ending qualified immunity, because it does have its uses. And we need cops to be able to perform their jobs without saying, oh, maybe this is litigious. I probably shouldn't do that because I could get sued. And then that'll cause... I mean, a lot of cops are leaving their jobs now. They're leaving a lot of these...
rightfully so.
These cities have defunded them, and like they feel no support. And so they're like, I'm out.
It's almost like... when 9/11 happened, there was a really famous shooting of a Sikh in Texas.
Yes, I remember.
And
that.
the Sikhs had nothing to do with any of this stuff.
Yeah, that's really unfortunate.
But like with all of the crazy news about police, there are so many people like, you know, saying fuck 12 is one thing, but going and murdering a cop just because he's a cop, like that is discrimination.
Yeah, dude.
That's a hate crime.
Yeah, absolutely. And especially someone who grew up more around like the inner city folks. Like I went, like my middle school always had lockdowns because we were right in the hood. And so
no
like,
shit.
I grew up around there. Like I know what I'm talking about. I'm not just some like Cuban white dude that's like privileged. And I mean, I know what it's like in the streets. Maybe not as much as other people's, thankfully, because I've been privileged as well and not having to be in the worst of it. But I mean, you've never really been like growing up there. You're not really fond of the cops. Like they're always coming around. They're like, you're just smoking and or something. Like the homies are smoking. I've never smoked marijuana.
Smoking marijuana is illegal. Well, actually, I have my med card, so
it's illegal.
Whatever.
It's illegal. So I've never done that.
Yeah.
But you see, you're around the homies. They're smoking a little bit. Like you're around like things that regular young people are around, and like so the police come. It's a bad time. You run from the cops. You do this, and it's fuck 12. But when it comes down to like the actual things that happen in society, people need the cops. They need it. You don't call anyone else other than the cops if you need help, unless you have a gun and you live in Texas or something. Then you call your AR. But
wait, your AR?
Your Armalite rifle, your AR-15.
Oh, okay. Oh! You call your AR?
Yeah.
I got you. Yeah, I mean, dude, it's pretty easy to say fuck 12 when like you feel like you have to be when you feel like you're doing something within your rights.
Yeah.
But it can be a lot harder when like someone has a fucking gun and is chasing you and a cop is trying to like tackle them.
Yeah, absolutely. You know? The people in lower income.
Isn't it funny how people really change their mind when someone's doing something for them instead of like stopping them from doing something?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's just human nature.
That's of course. And that's essentially what I'm not the biggest in terms of privilege, although I've used it a lot in here. Like I'm not I think the biggest privilege you can have is being born in this country. And because you experience
maybe it depends on where in the country.
Yeah, also where in the country.
Because, dude, how about people who were born in Sweden?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, but I mean that's also a product of American interventionism there, because they don't really pay for a lot of their military. We help pay for them, especially with a lot of the NATO things that go on. So they.
Okay, I mean, we can talk about like intervening factors all day long.
Right. Yeah.
But like just from a like direct perspective, like being born in America and saying that that's like super privileged, that like. It really depends on where, you know.
I guess yeah, that's true.
Because like, dude, there's places in Tampa that are a lot worse than places in like China even.
But the thing is, in terms because we have a heterogeneous population.
Not there's anything wrong with China. China's whatever.
Yeah, China's dope, but the government sucks.
Yeah.
But what I mean by that is.
Well, like how the government like rules, like their like the fact that they like. The fact that they have their citizens have such little rights is a fucking gigantic problem. Yeah,
that's China's problem. Not Chinese people, Chinese culture, amazing.
So beautiful. Have you? Never mind. No,
I have not been to China. No.
Me either. I was gonna say Japan.
Oh, neither Japan. No.
Yeah, me either.
But the thing is,
I'd love to go though. Right.
Japan looks gorgeous,
dude. I know.
I'd love to go there too.
Yeah, House Hats having a show in Japan.
House Hats Japan. Jensen, Steve, please.
Yeah.
But there's Ultra Japan. I would love to play that.
Dude, nuts.
Crazy.
My God.
That's gotta be beautiful. But what I was gonna say is I think that it's a privilege being born here because we're a heterogeneous country. I mean, in Sweden, everyone's homogenous. In Japan, everyone's homogenous. They have more leeway. They think there's more groupthink. There's more like helping out like your own people. So the reason why I think it's very privileged to be growing up in the United States, we have a lot of personal freedoms here, and we have a lot of
absolutely in that sense, 100%.
Absolutely.
What I thought that you were implying was like, wealth-wise.
No, not wealth-wise.
But I would even say part of the wealth here is exactly what you just said. Like part of the wealth are the rights that come with being an American citizen.
Absolutely, because the thing in Sweden is that they're actually a lot more capitalistic than we are, but they call it I think it's
some really long and hard to say word.
No, it's like bubble capitalism or something. It's like really kind capitalism there, and essentially it's like everyone there is super capitalistic, and they like there's no minimum wage, there's no nationalized corporations are very, very few. There's very few of them. They allow businesses to do what they do, but like at the end of the day, people care about so much about their country and their identity over there in those places. They don't mind paying 40% in taxes. But we don't have that here. We don't have the luxury of that here because we're very diverse. We're not one kind of people. We're so many different ethnicities, so many different nationalities here, which is an amazing thing. And so the fact that we have so many personal freedoms, we're able to like have economic freedoms here as well. It just, the reason why I say it's so privileged is because we have the ability to become who we want to be here. And it's not, the restrictions on that are not as severe and are very much more few than in other countries.
And not only are we allowed to be that, but we're given so many opportunities to do whatever you want.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you're little, you're literally told you can be whatever you want to be.
Yeah, and you can. And you can.
And you're literally given the opportunity to do whatever you want. That said, again, that kind of goes back to the reason that I said, like, hold on to what you were saying, because in a lot of societies you can't really be whatever you want. Like if you're surrounded by people who have just been in poverty their entire lives for generations, then it can be, it's extremely hard to break out of that. As opposed to if you're born into a family of like doctors and lawyers who have like the means to like, oh, like you want to try aerospace engineering? Yeah, go to space camp. Oh, you want to go hiking through the forest? Oh, like, you can go to Camp Blue Star for a while.
Right.
Like, and I use those examples. Like, I didn't go to I didn't go to space camp, but I went to camp, and I'm an extremely privileged person.
Right.
That being said, I feel like I've taken full advantage of my privilegedness, and I've seized as many opportunities as I can.
Yeah.
I'm a lawyer, and I'm on this is my podcast.
Right.
You know what I mean? A lot of people like don't have those same opportunities, but just the fact that you live in America means that you're going to have a much higher likelihood of those opportunities.
Yeah, because we have a lot of different resources and abilities to be able to do this. You know, I mean, I come from an immigrant family, and we couldn't always afford a lot of things, but I was able to go to college for free. Actually, I got paid to go to college. I got a lot of that financial aid money back. Let's go. I got a lot of that Thank you.
Yeah.
I got a lot of financial aid money back, thankfully.
Nice.
And you know, we have. I feel like a lot of it is also mindset, and it that could be a little tumultuous in terms of public opinion. But I I feel like it has to do a lot of mindset, because even in my family and people that I grew up around, they didn't have the mindset for education, and they didn't want to pursue that. They were just really complacent, whatever, selling drugs and just like being essentially like like just someone that
we got him.
All right, get him out of here.
We got him, guys.
Everyone comes out. It's like
freeze, sucker.
So it's like seeing people that I grew up around with still being in that. And I grew up in essentially the same circumstances, and I'm doing something completely different with my life. America provides you the opportunity to break out, more opportunity than any other country, in my opinion, to break out from that situation in which you're in and do what you want. Because even in Sweden, if you live in one of these immigrant communities that has been growing and growing in the past times, you're not going to have as many opportunities as the Swedes, because they're the homogeneity in their country runs
something like that.
It runs so deep that you won't have those privileges to be able to do that.
Yeah.
And that's why I love this country so much. And that's
a great country. Shout out to America.
Shout out America.
I love being American.
We get a lot of hate, and we're not a perfect country, but just because we have things we can change doesn't mean we're the worst country in the world. We're one of the few countries where we can literally, at the drop of a hat of public opinion, we can change what we have, because it's not ingrained into like our identity. A part of our identity is learning from our mistakes. With our entire history, constitutional history, has been fighting against the bad parts of our society with the good parts. With the Constitution has helped us fight for our rights as humans for so long. People hate the Constitution, but it's what gives us our rights, and it's what's allowed us to have the freedom to vote. It's allowed us to ban slavery. It's allowed us to do all of this stuff. And it's not because... It's not like we had slavery, we are a bad country. It's we surpassed slavery. We're a good country. We're getting better. So, like, I thought...
Hey, you know what? We have some scars. You know?
Yeah. We've always... I mean, no country is perfect. No country has been a perfect country. But the fact that we've able to be... Right now, we're the hegemon. We're such a wealthy country in terms of GDP. The fact that we've been able to do that after being colonized by the British... And we've been able to gain our rights back little by little for every person, because we started off with the notion that everyone had freedoms, and that we had freedoms that were given to us by God, and that gives us a representative democracy. We completely rejected monarchy. So it's giving rights to, like, just having personal rights in general. Then it's rights to poor white people. Then it's rights to black people that were in slavery. Then it's to women, and then it's to all the other minorities. So it's just been a constant development of rights that we keep getting that are just monumental every time. And most recently, gay marriage, which thank God that became legal, because...
Isn't that crazy that gay marriage has only been legal for, has it even been 10 years?
It was 2009, I believe.
Okay, so it's been like 11 years.
Yeah.
That's so young for something so obvious.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And there's a lot of disagreement, and I mean, I get where they're coming from. But that
is the disagreement just like tradition?
It's more tradition, and I understand it to a point, because it's like, okay, but they're gonna go a lot further. There was always the joke, like, so if you let a man get married to a man, then next he's gonna marry a dog or something like that. And it's like, that's a stupid argument, but you give an inch and people take a mile, and essentially that's what's happened. Now you have kids being told that they're okay to surgically transition when they're kids.
When they're like 11. Yeah, that's actually something that I've talked about on the podcast before. There's cases in England where the parents allow the kid to do it, and then the kid regrets it by the time he's like 16.
That happens so many times. Like, I've seen like people on Twitter do the same thing, saying the same thing, like, yo, I'm so ashamed that I transitioned when I was so young. And so, like, the argument for that, because I grew up around people that thought that way, it was essentially that you give them an inch, they're going to take a mile. So that's why they were so scared to let gay marriage be a thing, because then now our kids are turning are being trans, and like that's like,
hey man, you know what, if you love a dolphin, maybe you should just be able to marry it.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm a big advocate for personal freedoms, and that means polygamy. I'm okay with like polygamy being legal. I mean, why shouldn't multiple consenting adults be in a relationship?
Like, why is the government regulating love?
there's no provision in the Constitution or anything that says that should happen. Sure, the founding fathers had Judeo-Christian beliefs and that whatnot, but they weren't in the business of saying who can and can't get married.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, come on.
That is really, like, if you really just think about that, like, okay, I understand that the government needs to regulate police, and it needs to regulate, like, you know, maybe helping poor people, and it should regulate the roads and things like that. Like, make sure that society is moving correctly.
Yeah.
Is moving and flowing correctly. Where does love come into that? Like, why?
It doesn't.
Like, yeah, exactly. Like what? Like, just because they think that's yucky when two guys kiss.
Yeah.
Like, they fucking regulate game. It is so fucking mind blowing.
It's strange, and weirdly enough, I remember you talked about how you would love to talk with Trump on your podcast, and luckily enough, he was one of the first Republican, or one of the first presidents to come into office. Even Obama and Biden, they had their anti-gay pass, right? He was supposedly one of the first candidates that came in, and was elected. Already pro-gay, like even his son, I remember, posted something on Instagram and it was like, I want gay couples to defend their weed plants with ARs, and I was like, okay, that's nice. I get that.
Dude, Donald Trump Jr. is so funny. Do you follow him on Twitter? Do you follow him on Instagram?
I do. Yes, I follow.
He makes the best memes. I don't know if he's the one making the memes,
right?
But
he's like his dad. He's so much like his dad, the way he talks,
and that's why I would love to have Donald Trump on my podcast because, like, yeah, we would obviously talk about political stuff, but I just feel like we, you know, get a little boozy.
Yeah.
And we'll just be like, I feel like he would have me peeing my pants with some of the things that he would say.
He's a very funny person. I feel like the things he does, I don't think he's an evil person. He might be a little bit of a lunatic. He might be a little bit of a egomaniac. But I don't think he's a horrible person. I don't think he's out here trying to oppress people and, like, trying to be xenophobic. I think he's just a guy.
Like, okay. Let me piggyback off of what you're saying right here.
Okay.
Fuck her right in the pussy.
Right.
Do you think that when he said that he was with, like,
the grabber
by the pussy?
I mean,
no, wait, what I said was fuck her. Wait, what?
Yeah, you said that's the guy that. Yeah, you said fuck her in the pussy. No, that's the guy that bombs interviews. He's like, fuck her in the pussy.
Yeah, not what I meant.
No.
Yeah, I just, like, hijacked the podcast. Like, wait a minute, fuck her in the pussy.
Fuck her in the pussy. Yes, no.
But grab her by the pussy.
Right.
That's what it was, right?
Yeah, it was grab her by the pussy.
Like, do you think that when he said that, it was, like, with any fucking, like, maliciousness? Like,
no, you hear the whole conversation. He's saying, like, they let you because you're rich. Essentially, he's not saying, I'm just gonna randomly grab them and, like,
come here,
assault
bitch.
them. Yeah, no, he's like, they let you because you're rich. And it was, I mean, locker room talk is a slippery. It's a sensitive subject because, you know, and as men, we really shouldn't be talking very derogatorily about women.
Of course not.
Because women are, I mean, they're queens. So, but
women really keep society together.
They really do.
They're, like, the whole reason that if they get like, we're just insane people. Like, yeah, I was talking to my uncle about this last night, how women are just so much more. This is very, very general, of course, but they just have a much better like, grasp on life. Like, my uncle was telling me about how, like, he feels like women have a bigger chance of, like, being, like, logical and, like, dealing with hard situations because of their periods. Like, once a month, they do not have control over whether or not they get their period. They are going to get their period no matter what. Like, until menopause happens. So,
and it's just pain.
And it's just pain, and it sucks, and their hormones are all out of whack. I mean, I don't know. I'm not a fucking scientist. I don't know exactly how it works. But one thing that I do know about it is that it's coming. So it's completely, and more to the point, it's completely out of their control. That means that they have more experienced with, they're more experienced with dealing with things that are out of their control. So when things that are out of their control happen in their everyday life, they might treat it in a better way than someone with less experience, i.e. people who don't get periods, i.e. men.
Right. Yeah. Which is why also they tend to be a lot more empathetic in general. And I mean, this is studies. This is not just me being a misogynist, right?
I don't think that we're being misogynist.
No,
here.
because some people
I think that we're being extremely supportive of women, right
because
now.
A lot of people would call it. They'd be like, "Oh, women are inherently, like, empathetic because of that." Like, "Oh, that's no." Like, I mean, they're really strong people. I mean, if you look at any functional relationship, even in a patriarchal society, the man is always like, oh, I gotta ask the wife, or I gotta do this. Oh, the wife is always gonna be the end of, like,
the buck stops here.
Yeah. Like I gotta ask the wife. Oh, go ask your mom. Oh, do this and that. The mom is the queen of the household, essentially. So I mean, that's where gender norms come from. Is because that's just been that's a tried and true process that's been happening. And obviously, that doesn't mean everyone has to stick to that way always all the time. But typically, always the man was historically, since caveman times, would go out and do all this crazy shit, and we'd like hunt and bring things to the home, and the woman would stay home and take care of the kids. And that doesn't mean that when women can't work. I urge women to go get an education and work all the time, but they would like. That's why they're essentially the supreme leaders of the household, because they're the ones that's always there. They're in the nitty gritty stuff. Raising kids is a super hard job.
How about giving birth to kids?
Having that thing coming out of you, like that's something.
I've heard that it's like comparing a watermelon coming out of your nostril.
What I've also seen, and I read this, is that it like the lining between the outing of the vagina and the anus that rips. And that's crazy, and that happens so much. And I would thank my mom so much for allowing me to be in this world, because she went through that, and all of us have been through that. And like women are so strong.
Thank you, mom.
Thank you, mom. I mean, like women, they endure periods, they endure childbirth if they end up having kids. Yeah. And they go.
What's it called? I think it's called being dilated.
Yeah, when they dilate their
vaginas.
Vaginas, yeah. Just like fucking like it's crazy.
It is crazy.
A human comes out of it.
It's like, so crazy,
like
dude.
Tell me that isn't like a superpower. You can make another I mean, obviously with the help of a man, but like a human comes out of you. Like, come on now.
God, and like the skin, like the gooch rips. Dude, no. No.
Bro, I could not imagine that. Like,
ouch.
That's crazy. So shout out women. I don't know where we were going with this. Why are we talking about women, the strength of women?
I mean, dude, when are we not talking about the strength of women?
Yeah, I mean, women are amazing.
I'm just going to change my whole podcast.
Yeah, this is going to be called the Strength of Women podcast.
Yes.
You heard it here first.
Welcome to the Strength of Women, S-O-W.
So. I love that.
Oh, my God. All right, man. We've been going for an hour 45.
Jeez.
This has been fucking awesome.
It's been amazing.
Yeah, for real. So, again, the shows that are happening.
Mm-hmm. So the shows that are happening, we have tonight is just Boots and Cats. We have Carpy. He is a Tampa native. He's released on huge labels like Confession, which is Shami's label.
Where's Boots and Cats happening?
It's happening at Riveters. It's right next to 2001 Odyssey, the strip club with the spaceship. It's like
I actually don't, just because I'm new here.
Oh, sweet. Okay, so it's an hour. It's a mile away from SMF, right next to Buck Stadium. It's next to 2001 Odyssey. That's tonight. Tomorrow we have Greco there as well with Diluent. So Boots and Cats is a house show thing here, and they're really notorious. They have a neon cat, which everyone loves. And so we also have Diluent, who's from Miami, an event company from Miami. They're here now, throwing shows here now. That's tomorrow. They're doing the Greco after party at Riveters as well. Then you have Henry Fong, and your boy will be playing there tomorrow. Let's go. We'll be playing there tomorrow, opening for Henry Fong. And that is, I'll be on at 9:30, maybe 8, because we're trying to find someone for 8 to 9:30. So if you're a DJ at the DJ's house, let me know. Because everyone's either at SMF or preparing their own party. So, then also there's the house hats. Well, that's like a really important one too, because Gallo going back to back with Taylor Lace. All homies are going to be on that lineup. House hats, Florida local, Tampa local, Orlando local, Jax and Tallahassee locals. That's going to be going down as well. So big shouts out to house hats, because if it wasn't for house hats, I wouldn't be here. Steve hit me up.
Yeah, dude.
So if it wasn't for house hats, I wouldn't be here. And I wouldn't have met this wonderful, amazing person.
Thank you, man.
Yeah, and so
more on house hats at 6:30 tomorrow.
At 6:30. I'll be here with Steve. I'll hit him up, see if that's cool. But
yeah, dude, it's cool with me as long as it's cool with him, which I'm sure that it will be. Yeah.
He's fam, so
yeah, amazing. Well, dude, it was an absolute pleasure having you on the podcast.
Thank you.
We'll definitely do this again at some point.
Absolutely.
We have some activities for this weekend, which is incredibly exciting. For the listeners, I love you. Peace. Oh wait, there we go.